a great session prior to this, some great conversation. And as already said that our topic, this Fireside chat is about FinTech changing the future of insurance. And we have with us Mr. Vishwanath Ramarao, CTPO, ACKO, General Insurance. Welcome, Mr. Ramarao, to this conversation.
Thank you.
I hope I'm audible enough. Yes. Just to put a little bit of context before I start my set of questions, we know that the rise of FinTech, the changing consumer behavior and advanced technologies are disrupting the insurance agency industry in a very big way. What you call the term insurtech and technology startups, they continue to redefine customer experience and are giving the traditional players a new vision to look at, So these are some of the things that we all know about. So let me go to my first question that I have for you. Advancing technology has, given a solution to long-standing customer issues and created a series of deep, lasting systemic challenges for insurance. How have these trends and these solutions impacted the business of the industry overall?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look, I think technology is disrupting every business, not just the insurance business. And here in insurance, it's quite deep. Right. What used to be a traditional agent-driven sales process is now replaced by an easy-to-use digital portal. You can browse the portal, you can browse the product, you can understand the product a little bit better as a user and as a customer. You can take your time coming up with the right product for yourself. You can configure it. Things that were not possible earlier are now possible on the sales front, on the distribution front. On the claims front, what used to be a typically laborious claims process with a lot of back and forth, unstructured data exchange between the consumer and the insurance company, a lot of analysis by hand and investigation by hand is now been replaced by automation, right? It's robotic process automation in some cases, it's artificial intelligence in some cases. Either way you look at it, it's dramatically different than how traditional insurance companies have run businesses. And that allows businesses to scale better while maintaining a very high bar for customer experience. And that is true of P&C businesses, health insurance, you name it, everything has dramatically changed, and this will continue to accelerate.
Right. So you just referred that the bar has been set high, by the coming of FinTech or InsurTech, as we call it. But tell me, in what ways exactly, if you could elaborate on it a little bit more? Yeah.
So, see, if you take a typical, health insurance policy, oftentimes the regular process of purchase of policy requires a significant understanding of the customer and by the insurance company. And that required lots and lots of form filling, paper forms in many cases, delays in being able to sort of get the right quote and prices. All of that has changed over the last 5 years, right? Now you can fill out a digital form, oftentimes fill out partial data, and the system can complete the rest of it for you. It already understands you as a customer. It already can recommend the right products for you as the customer, the right add-ons for you, the right configurations for some insured, the right policy construct itself in many cases. That's true of motor insurance, health insurance, you name it, right? So the entire process of purchasing is now back to becoming consumer choice. It's no longer a fixed hardline process that maybe was the way the insurance company was operating. Right. And on the claims front, again, you open up an app today and you can press a couple buttons and claim. And that delightful experience brings you instant gratification. It takes you maybe 15 minutes to get your claim approved in many cases. And that speed of doing business, that ease of doing business is dramatically accelerating the adoption of the product, right? What used to be a complex product, burdened by these explanatory problems in between and middlemen and all the actors that were there, now is being replaced by digital products and digital interfaces that are much better suited for consumers to be able to choose, participate, and choose in the decision-making process. And so in some ways, that empowerment of the consumer, giving that choice back to the consumer, configurability back to the consumer, that's dramatically improved over the last few years.
Right. I just want to go back to what we witnessed. We have just come out, we're about to come out of a pandemic, I hope, and the early signs of it are at least here. Tell me, I mean, we talk a lot about that the past 11 months or so have been really kind of the dream come true for digital first companies. And tell me, how has it been in your case? Given the kind of black swan event that we saw, how did it kind of play out for you in the last year? If you could elaborate on that.
Sure. See, we have three product lines. One of them is micro insurances. This is a product line where we offer small moment, small ticket insurances for people to really experience our brand and our product. This could be a ride share. It could be, you're sitting in the back of an Ola car and you have an elevated risk at that moment. That's when this product kicks in. So these types of products that were primarily driven with our partner ecosystem, that are built with our partner ecosystem, built for a large user base to experience insurance. These, of course, are dependent on how the overall general economy works, right? And so when that economy kind of came to a standstill, of course, it impacted us negatively as well. But at the same time, other product lines like motor insurance, where we are a direct-to-consumer brand, we have our own product experience that we are very proud about. We put it out digitally. Those types of products that were direct-to-consumer digital products were taking off because a lot of people that would do certain things a certain way in the past, maybe it would be a paper form that you would fill out from your broker and buy insurance, that had all shifted towards online behaviors. And so that purchase behavior had changed, and that's sort of one big accelerant that we saw. The second one is just the adoption of digital technologies to notify the insurer, in this case us, to of events that a claim event, for example. The adoption of that app, that digital strategy by the consumer, we saw again significantly accelerated behavior, where people felt almost compelled, right? Because they didn't have any choice anymore. Contactless digital technologies really accelerated as well. So both of those have been quite positive for us, and maybe offset the negative of the overall economy being being down for everybody in the digital space.
Right. There's also a section of people who think that FinTech is versus the traditional, players that have been there for long, though it's the same ecosystem. But within the ecosystem, how is the equation between the new offerings that are around and the traditional players? And given the kind of, relatively a new product on the scene, how are customers reacting to it? Are they finding it easier to adopt to the FinTech and the InsurTech, or are they still trying to grapple with the understanding of this product?
Yeah, look, I think the market itself is very large. India, as a country, is underinsured. There's a lot of growth left in the sector itself. So, you will always find people of all segments and spectrums, right? There will be people who are digitally very savvy, or very comfortable transacting online, are very good at making those decisions for themselves, know where to look, know how to sort of find the right product for themselves, right? And so that digital savvy, sort of forward-thinking customer is obviously getting a lot of choice, right? We're with a lot of even traditional players presenting a digital front, they're definitely getting a lot of choice out there. And for people who are looking for that pinnacle experience where you just want to directly just go make a few clicks and make that purchase decision, or associate yourself with the new one of the newer insurance companies like ours that are all digital. All of those types of forward thinkers are getting a deep accelerant, right? And so that's been very, very helpful.
Right.
but like I said, the market is very big. The population is underinsured. So I'm very, very sure that both traditional players have a role to play here, as well as digital products like us.
Right. So this point of underinsured is something, wherein I really want to understand the numbers here and the opportunity that you see, and give me a sense of how is, which categories within the insurance sectors are looking very promising, where you are focusing for this year, and which geographies within India are the ones where you are looking on, and the demographic profile, if you could give me those numbers,
Yeah. See, if you just look at the numbers, insurance is a contribution to the GDP where we stand versus maybe a typical European country or a North America. We're maybe about 1/5 of that, or maybe even 1/10 of that, right? And so there's a significant opportunity definitely for people to be able to purchase insurance and secure their lives a little bit more, their assets a little bit more. The issue has been just penetration, right? Reaching India across the country is actually quite hard. It's a country built of diversity, and so you need many different channels, and the costs to reach that consumer has always been the challenge. But if you look at sort of fintech acceleration in India, we're one of the leading digital financial technology. We're one of the leading countries in the world, right? And so that push nationally to kind of make all of that go faster has really helped bring people along and educate them about the value of insurance in their own lives, right? A good one is just health insurance. Like if you just look at the queries on health insurance over the last 6 months online, it's probably tenfold of what it was before that, right? And so both COVID has accelerated that desire to say, hey, look, I want to be able to secure my life. I want to be able to secure my health, and I need products that will allow me to do that, and at the right price point. So that's one area that is definitely dramatically shifting. But so also is, PNC businesses like motor insurance, car insurance in particular. Car owners are all very digitally savvy. They all have fingertip access to the right digital products these days. So that's again, significantly improved, and you can just see that in just the way people come to our products and the way they behave. That they look savvy. They don't look like this is the first time they're making an internet transaction. So that prior introduction to financial technologies, maybe with the wallets, with smaller online transactions, now is bleeding over to the larger ones, and deeper commitments and deeper relationships, like with digital insurers like us.
Right. So we know that enriched connectivity and AI solutions can eliminate friction at several touch points in the customer's journey. With all this in place, tell me, what are the big roadblocks faced by fintechs and insurtechs to create a seamless customer experience? Are there still any roadblocks in your view? What are those?
Data is one of the biggest things, right? Getting access to the right data for you to be able to customize the product for the user. And in our particular case, we follow a unique approach to pricing risk, right? We have individual risk pricing. We don't just do sort of overall book level risk, but essentially we look at each customer individually and decide the best way to be able to serve that particular customer, which is why we are home to some of the safest drivers in the car insurance space. We're home to the safest drivers, probably as a product. We cater to that segment with our price points. So that risk pricing requires a significant understanding of the consumer and data, and so that is still a work in progress across fintech and across in general across a lot of industries in India. Structured data access to that at the levels and at the sort of the scale that we operate at, that's still a long way to go. So that's one area. The second area is, I'd say, assessment technology when it comes to sort of looking at a damage or looking at a claim and being able to automatically be able to assess the impact of that or the financial value of that. That's still, again, an unsolved problem. I mean, solved to a degree, but it doesn't quite replace or do the exact same thing that a human assessor would do. So that is accelerating. That still has a lot of, I'd say, catch up to do. And it again requires significant first party data access and more sort of cutting edge technology before we can get there. But we're on that path already. So I'd say there are a few bottlenecks. I wouldn't say it's all perfect, but at the same time, they are getting solved. They are getting scaled and solved, and so that's heartening to see that that structuring is happening, that intelligence is coming on at large scale. If that is happening, we're still okay.
I remember recently I went for a car insurance and I could do it without human connect. I mean, they told me to click pictures. I think the technology itself, but yes, I mean, the human factor has been kind of eliminated in that. I mean, it was totally without any human contact. One more thing I want to ask you is that we're also witnessing a huge, the market is getting crowded with offerings and solutions and price points. In this kind of a setup, how is your company trying to stay a step ahead and create the differentiated, identity for itself?
Yeah, so we're unique in the sense that compared to most players, we are maybe we're the only one, or maybe one of the few that have a direct-to-consumer, completely direct-to-consumer business model. So that consumer direct business model allows us to build that relationship and essentially over time build better products for our users, right? We're able to look at the user for a significant enough time that we can price the right product for the right user at the right time, which is quite different than maybe a non D2C model where you might look at the user purely as unnamed person. It's just one element of your book to you. So you're not able to build that relationship, and that shows in just the way the insurance product itself feels to you. What we are really trying to do is to bring that human touch, to simplify the product, and just to be able to say to users, hey, look, this is something that you can make a choice in your life, and that financial education and that inclusion, being able to sort of simplify the product, that's very powerful, right? It's one of the biggest ways that we can bring more people to the table, educate them about what is right for them, and be able to secure, insurance can help them secure their assets and their futures. And so that's quite unique about ACKO, that we're very, very customer centric. We're very much about that direct relationship, and we hope that that's something that our users are able to appreciate as well. And we see that in just the way our users are connected with us. It's not just, while the digital product is very important, they love us on social media. They absolutely love the experience. They love the fingertips access to information. So all of that is, I think, quite different compared to maybe again a traditional insurer that maybe doesn't have a D2C model.
Right. Tell me, in terms of products, new categories, what has, like last year, what have been the takeaways, if I may ask, in terms of new product offerings that you have, or are you also planning for 2021? What is on, to give you a sense of what kind of products are you planning to have more offerings?
Yeah. So for us, health is of course the big focus area, like many other insurers as well, that we're seeing accelerated interest in health. And so we're working on some fairly interesting health insurance products. But we had already built a fairly innovative platform of micro insurances, right? Where you could sort of experience insurance across your digital products, not just on our platform, but wherever you are, whether that is a ride sharing problem and you need some coverage there for a small amount of time, or whether it's a stay and securing your digital transactions, right? So that that continues to be an area of innovation for us. And as the economy and people start to participate more in more sophisticated financial instruments, maybe even things like credit borrowing, right? Borrowing used to be a very traditional sort of way of doing it. Go to the bank, fill out the form, meet the manager, try to sort of borrow. Now all of that is again getting very, very digital. People go click a few buttons. There's enough information available for you to be able to borrow. So attaching insurance to those types of things is continuing to be a big focus area for us, and an innovation area.
So tell me, from a regulatory standpoint, as far as this future of insurance sector is concerned, is it all fine and all? Are there any kind of changes that is there a change that needs to be done to make it more seamless and widespread from the regulatory standpoint, in your view?
Yeah, honestly, our regulator is quite innovative, right? They have a significant appetite for new products. They're constantly through the sandboxes pushing companies to innovate and try and do new things. And so I think that relationship is very, very healthy. It's in good shape, and the regulator works with insurance companies for the benefit of the consumer, and that's working really well. I do think that for companies like us, which are really trying to be very customer-centric, consumer-centric, extending that insurance, boundary and making sure that we're able to do whatever it takes for us to be able to serve that consumer. Sometimes there are some, gray areas there that we need to work more closely together to be able to solve for the consumer. And I think that those are the types of things where the regulator has been very helpful in encouraging that customer-centric behavior, right? So even where the laws or the regulatory boundaries are not absolutely clear, or maybe have been formulated maybe 10 years ago and require a little bit of a rethink or a little bit of a change in that process to be able to deepen that consumer relationship. I think those are continuing to be in areas of change from a regulatory standpoint, and that's always great, right? It's always good for the consumer to be able to kind of have no restrictions coming out of the regulatory framework, and that's been wonderful as well.
So this is my favorite question to everybody who is close to customers and is listening to them very closely. Tell me, in your category, how do you build loyalty among your customers? Is it just the product? Is it just the offering? In your view, what is that thing that kind of makes them loyal to this product?
Yeah. Look, I think any insurance business fundamentally is a service business, and it needs to work at the most when the user is in their most vulnerable moment, right? It's an accident of your car, or you're just hospitalized and you need help there. And so it's very important for us to be able to base that consumer relationship on transparency, right? You need to be able to understand the product, and that's why we have a D2C model, because we fundamentally believe that when people understand the product, the insurance and the insured relationship improves. So transparency is one of the most important things for us. And then that service, while you may have a certain sum insured, it's just how you feel through that process is just as important. And that's not going to come only from just the product that you have or the digital surface that you're touching. It should also comes from how the entire process feels and works, and how well we're able to blend automation with that human touch. And so we take a lot of pride in our customer experience, customer service, and being able to lean in and add that personal touch, in addition to making this process transparent and easy and digital. And so I think it's a unique combination where, this is truly technology powering human interaction. So we look at it on all surfaces. We don't look at this as just a digital product. we look at this as a direct to consumer relationship business, and we want to sort of be able to take all aspects of that and do better.
So I'm aware of some players that have focused on the awareness part of it. They say that the growth of this market is linked with the financial education and awareness among the consumers. And that is the big area where the entire ecosystem will benefit. Tell me, in that respect, what all initiatives are you planning to undertake or have undertaken for the company?
Yeah, see, awareness comes from being able to advertise and market to the right consumers the right message, being able to sort of make that proposition clearer as much as you possibly can. But it also continues there onwards, right? When they come to your application or website, being able to take them through that complex insurance journey, simplifying that down to a few clicks is also another way of building awareness, right? And so for us, the design of our product is truly built on making that as simple as you possibly can, using less official language, translating that to the consumer, making that easier to read. Your policy document should be parsable, easily consumable. Your purchase experience should have every step with support that with reasons why it works a certain way. Explain the choices that they're making. Sometimes we use double confirmation and interfaces like that, where we really want the user to be able to say, I know what I'm doing here, right? And so simplifying language, simplifying sort of that purchasing experience, and carrying that over then to the claims side, and be able to kind of, at that moment, like I said, the most vulnerable moment, be able to show that the product that they bought is now actually working for them, right? And when that trust cycle builds, we're then able to support word of mouth and other brand building and NPS exercises. We're able to bring more people into the fold and be able to convert people to relationships. And so it's not just one thing or one initiative that you do. It's just how you work. It's at a DNA level. And so digital is particularly direct to consumer, and digital are particularly well set to be able to do that. Right.
I have 5 more minutes and a couple of more questions. One is, tell me, what is the kind of vision for 2021 for you from the ACKO standpoint?
Yeah, so we're still a young company scaling, and so for us, it's to be able to do what we do for what we do at the highest possible level of service, right? And so scaling service across other cities, other parts of the country, making that service experience as uniform as we possibly can. Things of that nature are really core to the business, and we will continue to sort of invest significantly on that. Health insurance, like I said, is a pretty big focus area for us this year, and so we continue to sort of innovate there and build better product, make that a little bit more feature rich, make that a little bit more digital wherever we possibly can, and distribution, right? Being able to work with our partners and be able to not just sort of have an insurance product, but bring that insurance product to where people already are. And so that's our vision for 2021, to really, make the product even more delightful, continue to take the product to the doorstep of the customer wherever they are through deeper distribution channels, bigger distribution channels, and continue to sort of improve on service and make that even better. So all core things to an insurer, nothing that you might consider as out of pure innovation. Here we're talking about really just deepening what already works and making it even better, and that's 2021 for us.
So my team just told me that 10 minutes, not 5. So I'll just broad base it before I come to my other questions. Tell me, with so many players in this sector, do you think over the next couple of years it will get consolidated? Only the ones with maybe deep pockets and great offerings will survive. I mean, how do you see the market panning out for this sector?
Yeah, I think competition is going to continue to stay here. There might be a little bit of consolidation, but I think just the regulatory framework that we have, most of the insurance companies are very well capitalized. They're run extremely efficiently. So this is going to be, for the foreseeable future, a deeply competitive space. While there will definitely be some consolidation, we don't expect it to be to the degree where it is going to disrupt the market forces in a way where it's either not friendly to the consumer or not right. We will continue to see I'd say room for all types of players, small and big, and I think it comes down to who's able to serve that customer better, who's able to make that deeper relationship happen. And I think the fittest of the fittest will survive, the nimblest will survive, and definitely the remaining ones will lose market share. But there is a share shift that is going to happen closer towards nimbler, more service-oriented companies, and that's something that we're excited by.
Right. So the sector you are in also kind of means that there's an always-on environment, and responding to customers in a very human way while using all the big tech and the deep tech. Is it challenging to kind of maintain this human-centric, driven by technology approach at an always-on and create an always-on environment?
Yeah, I mean, see, for us, we look at this as a tooling problem, right? Humans have always wanted to do the right thing, and our team of people inside the company have always been amazing people that want to do the right thing for the customer. Oftentimes, what breaks down is scale brings in challenges. Being able to do that to every customer at scale is quite hard. And so we look at technology as not just a pure innovation platform, but also a tooling platform. We love building tools that our internal teams are able to use to make that interaction with the customer a lot easier, a lot more delightful. And so whether it is sort of messaging products once you have started a particular insurance claim process, or whether that is internally being able to sort of bring all of the data silos together and be able to give one customer view to the internal agent that's working on your case, you name it. If we are in a position to transform use technology to build the right tools for your own team, you're going to be able to really enable your team. And empowered, enabled team can bring that human touch. And so technology and people need to work together to serve here, right? It's not replacing one or making something, changing one from one to the other. It's about sort of working together to spend more time with the customer. So even things like robotic process automation or any other automation that we try and do, it just returns time back to our employees to be able to talk to our customers in the most meaningful way possible. So, a tools-led approach is something that we feel very strongly about inside the company, and we think that's the best way for us to be able to combine technology and people.
So FinTech is also a field that is considered to have used tech in the most efficient way, the big technology, and sometimes it seems that it is on a mission to eliminate the human part of it, completely out of it. Is it so, and will that work?
I think it's not a replacement problem at all, right? It's about a scaling problem. You're really trying to just say, how can I bring financial inclusivity to a billion people? And when you try and do something at that particular scale, your processes, whether it's a business process, whether it's a technology platform, everything needs to be able to sort of scale. And so as that scale starts to happen, humans really cannot keep up with that scale, right? There are just not enough people to sort of do all of this in a traditional way. And so technology intervenes to build that platform for people to be able to do that. And so I'd say it's not a replacement problem, it's an enablement problem. How do you enable a smaller group of people to serve a larger base, and how do you build that connective tissue using technology to make that happen, right? And so technology also has to feel human, and it is still powered by humans. So instead of a CX agent, maybe there is a bot sitting out there, but end of the day, that bot's script, the way it behaves, the way that's programmed, is based on the behavior of a human. So I think the ability for humans to be able to make that their personal touch available to at scale to millions of transactions, I think that's not elimination, it is augmentation. And so for us, we really think of augmenting human capability with technical skills, not to replace humans with technology. Like that human touch has to be there, especially in insurance, right? Maybe in other places it's different in fintech, but especially in insurance, it is really important that it feels human. Like I said, the most vulnerable moments, we need to be present. And so being able to sort of do that augmentation is the key.
My final two questions. One is from a tech innovation point of view. I mean, if I think one has to know what's happening in tech, one has to ask the fintech companies about it. What are some of the new offerings that you're trying, innovations that you're trying that would be part of fintech and insurtech as we move on? Right now, it's like seamless. You can click and get it, and you have a kind of a human, response. But what do we see from a tech innovation standpoint as we move on in this sector?
Yeah, I think one of the areas that you will see a lot of is robotic process automation, right? So these are any types of stepwise business processes that people were going through internally, that's being sort of automated significantly. So automation is going to continue to be a very big area overall for InsurTech. Machine vision, we're pretty big. You mentioned this earlier, where you could just take a few clicks and essentially your claim was captured. You didn't have somebody visiting your home or your workplace trying to sort of capture the damage. It's all sort of understood by your application. And so sort of machine vision continues to be a very big area. Structured data extraction from unstructured data, that's another big area. A lot of paperwork is very unstructured, right? And building common protocols, whether it's in health insurance or in some other place, it takes a lot of time. And so the technology has evolved to the point where some of those big disparities in data protocols and things like that can now be massaged, and we can still derive a common sort of structured data approach from all of that. And so that continues to be a very significant technical area of innovation. And I think a lot of the stuff you may not see, it may come out very, very delightfully as a very simple click for the consumer. That's the idea, that we're able to take all of this stuff and just make what is working, what they're used to, a lot quicker, a lot more delightful, a lot more efficient. And when we do that, I think people will again just have a bigger trust in insurance, and that penetration is going to be key to our growth.
Right. My final question, talking of the entire industry, the future of fintech and insurtech in particular, and in the Indian environment, where do we see it in the next, say, 2 years?
Yeah, look, I think, we're already, India is already one of the fastest and sort of most advanced financial technology countries in the world, right? And so as we look at the health mission, for example, that the government is really pushing hard for, it just comes down to inclusivity, right? Having more and more people in the fold of financial technologies, and bringing more people, empowering more people to make those financial decisions, making them easier, simpler, one click, delightful, transparent. Those things, those core things will continue to sort of be the focus areas for the next 2 years, right? we're doing well as a country in that area. Just being able to sort of digitize as much as we possibly can, but it will accelerate. And then there are these sort of at the top of the pyramid there are technologies like digital currencies, right, that are going to that India is grappling with as well. Those will continue to push, right? We will see more and more innovation around blockchain technologies, and whether that is necessarily in non-fiat currencies, or whether that translates to maybe other types of innovation on the back office side of things. We just think that that's an area that'll again continue to sort of accelerate.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Ramarao. It's been a delightful, insightful, and a deep dive conversation. And really, really thank you for taking out time and joining us on this Festival of FinTech. Thank you so much for your time. And over to you, Bhavna.